Yesterday was an historic day in the state of Texas as far as athletics are concerned. Texas A&M-Commerce announced that in 2022 they are moving from the Lone Star Conference of the Division II level to the Southland Conference of the FCS level, Division I, making the move up. And here to talk about it is the athletic director of those A&M-Commerce Lions, Tim McMurray. Tim, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Greg. Great to be here.
I just imagine yesterday was pretty fun. Big announcement out there that you guys are moving up to Division I. What was yesterday like for you?
Well, it was the culmination of a very busy 3-4 weeks when these things really heated up, because there'd been some informal conversations and outreach really starting late in the spring and throughout the summer, but as I would say, more official dialogue started taking place and it became more real. I told a couple people during the events yesterday, I love the Mission Impossible movies, but I was tired of starring in them with all these backdoor conversations and trying to use pronouns correctly and not call one conference the other and that type of stuff. And it was just a culmination of a lot of hard work and as I said yesterday, this was not just a dynamic duo type. Certainly not dynamic if I'm involved, but it wasn't just a duo of Mark Rude and Tim McMurray. It takes a village. And one of the things when the Southland site visit team came on campus about 10 days ago now, that they were very, very impressed with and really blown away by was the alignment of our institution, from the president's cabinet to our athletic staff, our executive team, our head coaches certainly, and primarily our student athletes, SGA leadership, SAC leadership. To have our largest two student organizations, our faculty senate, our staff council all give, Dr. Rudin the blessing to move forward on that is really, really special and shows that our institution is primed and ready for this jump.
So let's talk a little bit about the process, because it's not just a snap your fingers, let's move to Division I
Sure.
type thing. How long have these conversations been, even informal conversations, how long has this been kicking around Commerce, and then when did things really kind of heat up?
Informal outreach, I would say the first one where it was an indication to me that we were seriously on the Southland's radar was a call I got. Josh Mank and I were actually at the NCAA Outdoor Track Championships, but I'd said we're in a position of strength, not weakness. It's not something we're actively pursuing, but we would be silly to not have a conversation. And you'd never want to pigeonhole yourself, especially in the land of musical chairs with conference realignment now. Kept in touch, I would say, throughout the summer with Commissioner Burnett, but in the summer, a lot of presidents traveling, a lot of administrative coaches travel. There weren't really things truly heated up the latter part of August. And on September the 9th, Dr. Rude and I were invited to meet the Southland Conference presidents and athletic directors down in Houston. So we did that. It went very well, maybe even a little better than we expected in terms of the camaraderie and the connectivity that instantly took place. And the next week, two weeks ago now, the Southland site visit team was here. And that was a combination of presidents, ADs, and conference office staff in Commerce, day and a half of meetings with various constituent groups. And really it was to validate, Dr. Rudin uses the term third-party validation, and really to validate that there was that alignment throughout campus. And then some term sheet back and forth conversations for several days after that site visit, and verbally agreed to terms last week, middle of last week, and needed A&M System Board of Regents approval, and so we went through that process over several days, and then Friday afternoon we made our announcement of a formal announcement coming, and then obviously things started to, as we know, the narrative started to tell its own on Friday or Saturday night. What I was really pleased with was we controlled the message on that, but it really was a very fast, more formal process over the last 3 weeks, and that certainly they'd done their homework on us. Having some background in that conference, I was able to brief Dr. Rudin very quickly and get him up to speed on the lay of it, because the one thing we needed to see was some, at least some core stability there. I'm not saying there couldn't be Southland Conference changes down the road, additions, subtractions, but we feel very, very comfortable with the stability of going into a progressive Division I conference.
Now, the move from Division II and Division I is a big leap, and let's be honest, it's not for everybody.
No.
Like this would have been there. It would have been a reasonable, decision for A&M-Commerce to have interest from the outside, to move to Division I and say, you know what, that's not for us.
Right.
Why is it for us? Why is it for A&M-Commerce?
I think, and you've heard Coach Bailiff say it, I really do think, all joking aside, and having only been at Division I schools before I came to Commerce, we do look like a Division I school. Mm-hmm. A regional university, enrollment just under 12,000, within an hour of a vibrant media market, and where most of our alums are, and I really think it's an opportunity to advance our institutional brand, and that's why if we were not geographically friendly to a lot of different hubs, or our enrollment was only 5, 6, 7,000, you're exactly right. It wouldn't be favorable. It might not be the right fit. It might not be the right executive alignment. But there were a lot of things between the alignment, the geography, I think our presence close to Dallas, and our ability and willingness to invest. We know we've got to do some things down the road. Certainly with financial aid, that's not an option. We have to increase, financial aid and be with NCAA standards, because there's headcount sports, football, men's and women's basketball, volleyball at the Division I level. And then you have equivalency models that, just like in Division II with the other sports, we'll certainly have to increase those right away. We'll have to look at, in certain sports, we'll look at coaches' pools and that kind of thing to make sure we're competitive, because our current coaches understand that this isn't just to snap your fingers and we have a Division I budget. We have to build to that, and that's honestly why, there is this 4-year transition period. I don't like to call it probation because that sounds negative, but it's a true 4-year transition where we'll have the opportunity to compete for some regular season conference championships and give our student athletes some great experiences and be part of a legacy of Division I. But right away, it may not happen before a 4-year window finishes that they can play in NCAA postseason.
Yeah, it's obviously exciting times up there. Of note, you guys are changing conferences for the first time in 90 years.
Yeah.
You guys were the last Lone Star Conference charter member, now moving to the Southland. What has the welcome in the Southland Conference been like? Because this is obviously leaving a place you've been comfortable with for almost a century.
Yep.
Is a decision. But what about the Southland Conference is drawing you there?
Yeah, part of as the conversations heated up and became more formal over the last 2 or 3 weeks, one thing I did, I'm fortunate to already have known personally 5 of the 8 athletic directors in the Southland, and now have at least by phone met the other 3 and had a chance to engage with them, and pretty direct conversations about stability, about wanting to move forward together. Obviously the Southland expansion or potential future expansion was necessitated by the 5 that left in January to transition to the WAC, and so stability was one of our first questions, collegiality, collaboration, and feel really great about certainly the AD group, and even next week starting my in that first year, it's one of the requirements to visit every campus and get to know your conference members, and already had some AD meetings or an AD conference scheduled in New Orleans next week, so I'm going to hit 3 campuses while I'm there next week, and those ADs at Southeastern Louisiana, Nicholls State, and University of New Orleans couldn't be more accommodating. So going in, we feel great about it. We think it's going to be an excellent transition. Presidents and ADs both have been very welcoming, and certainly the Southland Conference office staff, their entire staff of 12 made appearances at all 3 of our events, announcing it earlier this week in Commerce, Frisco, and an alumni reception in Frisco later.
Now, every program charts their own path. Every program is different. But this does certainly mirror something that another former Lone Star Conference member in Tarleton has done, where they've made the transition to Division I and now going on, moving on to the WAC. From your perspective, was that a blueprint? Was that something that you guys looked at that gave you confidence that a type of move like this was possible or feasible?
Yeah, it's a great question. We monitored Tarleton's move. For us, I think it's a little bit heavier lift because they'd already started their transition process, and we just didn't think at the time that was not the right decision for us to go that far at the time. And I commend Tarleton for making the leap, but at the time there wasn't an answer for what football was going to look like, and for us, playing as an FCS independent wasn't going to be attainable. Certainly they've done some things. I still think the travel would have been a little bit, not by a lot, but Tarleton is still a little farther west than we are, and that would have created, I think, some unique situations. The transition's going to have enough financial impact. I don't want to add travel. Financial impact. I don't want to add travel to it.
Certainly. Now, obviously, this has impact for every sport here. We're a football show. It's on the helmet.
I did know that.
I want to ask you about transitioning with a guy like David Bailiff in charge.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who has coached at the FCS level, has coached really well at the FCS level, and then obviously had high heights at Rice. Now here in his third year there at Commerce. I am interested in if having Coach Bailiff at the helm gives you added confidence that now is the time to strike, now is the time to move up to Division I.
Yeah, very frankly, and it is a football show, and I'll get quickly past that. But one of the first things Dr. Root and I did when this became serious was engage David Bailiff, Jared Von Rosenberg, and Jason Burton, our football, men's and women's basketball coaches, primarily because of the sports they coach, but also because they all have Division I experience. And all three of them were gung-ho that if we have the chance, it's something we've got to explore. And when we hired, David and I have worked together, known each other for a really long time, worked together for a number of years, and when he and I first engaged during the coaching search in 2018, we didn't talk about Division I. We talked about making Commerce the best it can be, and during the interview process, we interviewed our finalists in Rockwall, and I personally drove Coach Bailiff out to Commerce because I wanted him to, I wanted to see his true reaction. Commerce is a small town, and wanted to see, hey, what is that? How does this appeal to you? And he said, we can win here. This town's much, better than I was prepared for size-wise. This campus reminds me a lot of Southwest Texas State when I came to school in San Marcos, and I won't give up Coach Bailiff's year, but but he when he went to San Marcos, it reminded him a lot of that, and we had so we've had a lot of fun, building this thing, and as as Coach Bailiff eloquently says, Coach Carthel handed him the keys to a Porsche, and so he really feels like this puts us in the driver's seat to begin to compete at the FCS level.
Tim McMurray, the newest Division I athletic director here for the A&M-Commerce Lions. Mr. McMurray, congratulations again on the transition. We're thrilled for you guys. Can't wait to see what you guys do.
Appreciate it. Congratulations to you guys on expanding Texas football's brand.
There he is, Tim McMurray, the athletic director of Texas A&M-Commerce, joining us here on Texas Football Today. Came into the studio, so gracious with his time, and excited to see what the Lions do. Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.